Hey guys, how's it going? I'm to that point where I can get the blue 68 Beetle back in the garage and maybe finish up the brakes and get some components done that need to be so that it can be street legal. As you can tell, it's been sitting for a while. It did have that much snow on top of it, but the sun has done wonders in knocking that first 3 feet off. We still have half a foot on the front, and she's a little buried, but we're gonna do a cold start on her, get her running, back it out of the spot, and maybe what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go and sit in the car. I won't be able to close the door. Let's go get this guy. Let's see if she fires up first. I don't think this thing has the choke working correctly. Let's go find out. There we go. It's gonna stay around. Yes, I thought I didn't have a choke. That, and it's still running on the gas that's been in it forever. Now I did it. Let that warm up a minute and we'll get it out of where it is. Come on, stay running. One more time. See how well it'll climb out of there. Out. So a reverse grind. Yeah, I parked it in the sun, or it was the sun, for a little bit, and got that to warm up and get the rest of the crap out so it doesn't melt in the garage. Now let's go bring her in. Stuff's a little easier now. Put the e-brake on. Remember, I don't have any brakes. In the garage, there's a string that hangs. See that string up there? I don't know if you can see it. That's the middle of my lift. There we go. The only thing left on the outside is dirt now. Alright, so there's a brake line that goes, the master cylinder's right on the other side of that firewall where that pedal cluster is. And it runs on the inside of the tunnel, down under the back seat, then pops out the rear. And that's the brake line itself. Right there, that line. That's what we need to go put in. And when we did the floor on the other side, we patched where the battery tray was, and then it had kind of a rusty paint on the inside, so we cleaned it up, threw some black Rust-Oleum paint over the top and cleaned it up. I have a feeling we're going to be into the same thing on this side. But let me get the seat out of the way, and we'll get the carpet kind of rolled up and off to the side and start getting going on that. Bolts are out. 3 of them. we're in. Kind of. Let's roll that carpet up. Take the bolt out of the seat belt. Let's see if we can. Actually, that guy's in our way too. I gotta unbolt that track. Oh, God. I gotta unbolt this guy, get it to lift up a little bit so I can get that guy out of there. And that's out. Try it out again. It still has all the original cardboard. Yeah, that's wet. Unfortunately, I had up in the front, I had the window, the vent covered. Yeah, this stuff just causes so much rot. You know, a little tar board. Get rid of that. We're not going to put that back in. Looks better than the other side though. Some crunchies on it, but I don't see any blowouts. And again, we're trying to get to back in here, underneath there. That's where our brake line goes. All the way up. Let's get rid of this front one too. Come out in a bunch of little pieces, huh? See what I'm looking at. That might need a date with the hairdryer. Warm it up a little. Not terrible though. I mean, it's a common problem where they hold moisture. That's why that brake line fails where it does. Down in this corner, because all the dirt and crap just kind of sits in here. It rots the line out. And this one's no different. So right there is where our failure is. Okay, so let me finish cleaning this crap out and I'll bring you back. Yeah, so what happened was I have under the hood, I don't have this vent put back in. I was doing some work with the, I think it was the radio, the last thing I was screwing with. I got that working. So while it was stored outside, you could see it. While it was stored outside, I had plastic over that with magnets going around, but all the snow slid off the roof and pushed all that down. When the snow melted away, the thing was sitting up here in the center of the hood, so all the water went down, went right inside. And as you can see, it's got soaked up from the floor. Again, that's what takes out the floors. So we're gonna go dry all that up. I hit it with the shop vac, kind of got rid of the loose little bits for now. We got a little swimming pool going there. Letting it kind of drip down into there, but it'll be in the garage for a while to let it dry out anyhow. But let's see if you can get that brake line out of there. It's got a bunch of clips that kind of hold it, whether they're still good or not. Get it free from there. Yeah, it looks like it's all the original stuff. It's 50 years old. Still the original floor in it. Take that one out. There should be one more up there. And we could just, for the most part, just break that right out of there and get it from the other sides. The new one's the one you got to fish in. I'm gonna grab a wire cutter, so I'm gonna cut both ends of that. We'll get it out of there. Looks like that center wasn't all that great neither, huh? Yeah, that's just broken in half on its own. And we could probably push that brake pedal down with something. I'll zip a 2x4 to keep that from dribbling all its brake fluid out. I'm just gonna pop the two tires off of the driver's side just for filming purposes. You can do it with them in there, but it's about a wash whether it's worth it or not. But for filming purposes, it's a definite. Let's see how well this works. You want to focus back here. Can you see? You can see now. Alright, see if we can work around you. So that rear one is the one that has to go. That's the rear brake line. It's 11 mil. Hopefully. Alright. Uh-oh. That might be an issue. I guess we're doing a brake fluid change. Did I go on the blooper reel? I got that crack loose and made a big mess. Let's see if we can get the rest of the way out of there. That's the easy part. The hard part is getting it to start with the getting the threads to line up straight. You gotta be up inside here and bend that line. We should be able to pull that out. Ouch! There we go. And just do the same to the back. Now we got to get that one. Let's see how well. I think it has to crack loose. Good. Sometimes it can be a pain, but again, it's just the old line coming out, so sometimes if it's really bad, you just nip it right off and you put a socket on the end of it. This is 11mm. You just put a socket on the end and you take it out. But you just don't want to take out the, you don't want to damage the T. Alright. Probably could have just cut that off right now too. Where is it? Going in blind. The black one. The back one's not so bad because it's more of a straight shot. It does have a bit of a bend you got to put in it, but it's not quite as bad as the front. The back one you can kind of bend in the profile before you even feed it through the back wall, but the front one you couldn't do that. It just has too much of a bow to it. Come on. No, you get the idea. Out. So this is a stainless line. Here's the end of the front one, is what I'm saying. It's so convoluted you can't bend that, then try sticking it through. That's a double firewall in the front. But we're gonna leave it like it is. We're also gonna leave the little rubber caps on the end of it for two reasons. One is the fitting will always want to slide down when you're trying to feed it through the walls, and then keep the crap out of the end of it. Usually I put a piece of tape on the back side of them. You don't have it, but we'll go with this. But I'm going to try to mimic that bend right there. So I want that guy towards me. So we got that guy. I'm going to kick it again right there. That should get us to the rear. We'll feed that through, get the back started, and then we'll work our way to the front. It's kind of dark back there, but hopefully you can see. I'm going to go unfold one side of it and kind of leave it folded up in the car anyway. You got to kind of work with it at you and then unleash it. So that's going to go through again like a double firewall. And I'm not sure how that needs to rotate. I think it needs to be, down. Let's get that a little more. I think that's roughly the direction it needs to be. No, I gotta rotate that guy. I gotta rotate that guy roughly like something like that, and then back it up. So I'm gonna get that little nipple off of there, so I'm not fighting that. Can't see a thing, can you? You're just gonna have to take my word for it, because there's no way I'm gonna get you, the camera, me, my big fat hand in there, and the brake line, get that started. But you'll get the idea, right? Had to go locate the rag that was towards the end of its life. I had to go soak up a bunch of that brake fluid. Pull it up in there. Let it go do its thing. We got that guy fed through and started drooping. Our swimming pool's filling up pretty good. I may go do a go do a dump on that. And again, there's the after. It's all started. That's the easy one. The line's still loose there, just so I can kind of rotate the line as needed. That will remind me to come back and tighten that. I'm missing it. There we go. So that line is now stretched out and fed through the hole in the front, but again, it's just a straight shot. It's hanging out there. So I'm just going to do my best to manipulate that by hand and bend that sucker into position without putting a kink in it. But you got to get a pretty good. I'm not gonna be able to do that with you guys. You have to visualize it for yourself. Let's just say that's when you need good hand strength. And you'll be able to get up in there and bend that sucker into place. The hole that goes through the firewall, that hole down there, I just take a piece of fuel line and slice it. Maybe about 3 inches long, and I feed it through just so it won't chafe on. The original factory grommets can be a tad aggravating to try to get in there. And again, I'm not really concerned about the car floating. You just don't want the line chafing against the body. How long is that sucker? I have no idea what you guys can see because I'm just holding you with the other hand and I can't even see the camera. So it's like 900 threads long. I don't want to crank it. I'm going to back off a hair because now I want to get in. I'm going to start forming. That's where you guys were. Now I can start taking the line and bending and forming it. I've got to put an S curve on this end. Is that my light on? My light's dead. I gotta put an S curve on that side, and then we're gonna feed it all the way back down in its proper locations down there. But that's after I shove the fuel line on. I want to take care of that first while it's easy to get to. Let's see if we can put a slice down that guy. One about that long. It's probably like 1.5 inches in between. We'll go that long. Let's go feed those guys in. Let's see if we can do it freehand again. Where are you? There you go. And if I feel that's going to slide around, I'll throw a tie wrap on the end of that. But that should hold that one. And I'll do the same with the front. And so that rubber line's through. We got her bent up all the way to the front, and a little clip's bent over, and then the other one in the front there. I'm going to leave all this open. I want to let it dry out. Maybe tonight after I get back from class I can put the rust converter on it, and we'll let that switch over, and then we'll get some Rust-Oleum on it and kind of put all this stuff back together. But again, this is soaked, so we're going to let that drip for a while and just let her dry out. I'm going to go tighten both of those ends up and then bleed the brakes. So I called my local auto parts store because this is the line that was coming down from the master cylinder reservoir down to the master cylinder with the hard lines. You can see it's got cracks in it, and you know, now it's a good time to replace it when it's kind of empty instead of using fuel line. So I called them. I said, do you have anything that is, you know, brake fluid savvy? And most of the new cars now don't have this. You know, they don't run a reservoir far away and then run lines to it like a VW has. And I said, I don't know about the new brake fluid, the new fuel line. They took all the brake line off the market and replaced it with something that can handle the alcohol that's in the fuel, because the alcohol was rotting all the old lines out, and you know, people dying in the cars burning a miserable death. So they kind of mandated that all the fuel line got pulled off the shelves and got replaced with stuff that is alcohol savvy. So I was kind of wondering if that was also good for brake fluid, but apparently not. When I called the auto parts store, he actually did a little bit of homework and got back to me, and says no, brake line, fuel line will not do, but what will work is heater hose. Anything that's heater hose, it's I think he said EDM was the initials on it, and that is brake fluid safe. I said, well, okay, well the next question is, can you get it in 1/4 inch diameter? And he said, yep, I'll get a roll for it, and it comes in 50-foot roll. So we're gonna see how that works out. I'll wait till tomorrow before I replace that stuff, and we'll put the correct stuff on there that won't rot away. Judging by the looks of this was at its 50-year life cycle, I guess. So at some point, this floor got kind of kicked in right here. And while I get the back seat out again, I'm gonna go grab these guys. See if we can bring her back into submission. I'll have a good area to swing. I need a longer one to stand it up on end. Hold on one sec. A little longer. Feels like it's going. How do we look? Pretty good. A little right here yet. Might be a little hard to get to. It looks a little more. One more shot, right? What do you think? It's got it. We're good. So I'm going to spend the next half hour doing this. Try to do our best with drying up all the moisture that's in there so that I can get the rust converter. I already hit it with a wire brush. I might hit it one more time. I want to get all that moisture out of there first. I just ripped all the stuff out from up there. I don't want it back in there anyway, so it'll just be the carpet going back down. It's for noise suppression. So if somebody down the line wants to go and put that back in, they can, but I'm going to leave it out. Because between the tar board and that material, that's what happens to it, and it never dries out. What I'm going to do is the same I did with the other side. For people who haven't seen the other videos on the car, is when I hit it with rust converter, then I'm going to put Rust-Oleum, you know, from a paint can with a brush. So we'll roll that back in and cover it with that, and then I'm going to go over it with fluid film, which is an oil that will make a moisture barrier. If water does get on, the water won't go through the fluid film down to the metal. And this is the original floor that's in the car, and it's 50 years old and it's still here. So as long as I can fix the leak for the water coming in and then seal up what we got for rust, it should do quite well in the future. Alright, so you get the idea. I'm going to do that for a while and get all that dried up. Got that dried up pretty good, and the last thing I want to do, and then I'll be out of here for a while, just to kind of go around, and we are going to go do that to everything and get her nice and wet and let that convert over the night. I'm going to go grab myself a little bit of mask because this stuff's a little on the strong side. Yeah, and let that convert. Alright, so it's about 24 hours later, 22 hours later the next day, and the acid has done its job. You can kind of see it's the light brown has gone to a dark brown or a black, and we're going to leave that well enough alone, but we're going to throw some black Rust-Oleum oil-based paint on that. We'll let that kind of soak in, and then again throw the fluid film on top of that and just put the carpet back in and back together. But we still have to bleed the brakes and get into that. And when you saw earlier, I was dealing with the master cylinder, the brake lines. The line that comes from the reservoir up top down to the master cylinder has little short lines. I don't know where they are. Here they go. They're right here actually. So this is the line that was on the master cylinder, and you can see that it's all shot. So I want to try to find out what would work, and you know, gas line does not work. I called my local auto parts store and I said, do you have anything like this? What would I replace that with? And he called me back about 10 minutes later. He says I looked it up and he found out that Gates heater hose, anything heater hose, will hold up to brake fluid, as far as what he found. So that is what we ordered. We actually found it in 1/4 inch, which is going to be close enough. Might be a little on the tight side because this is probably 7 millimeter, where this is probably 1/4 inches, 6.5, half a 13 mil. So we should be able to get it on there, but that's what we're going to try, and we'll see if that holds up over time. And if that's the case, that's nice to know that anything that is good for heater hose is good also for brake fluid stuff. And maybe it's the same. I'm not quite sure what's in brake fluid and antifreeze, but antifreeze, maybe it's the glycol that's in it, maybe it's the same that is in brake fluid. So, let me get the painting stuff out. Let me get this floor slopped together and get that paint start drying. And some good old Rust-Oleum slobbered on there to make it look all nice and pretty. Put it on with a brush, a little too thick, so that'll take about a month to dry. But should do the job. So it's like the next day. I let that paint kind of dry up. I'll put it in there. Well, it's getting dry, let's put it that way. It's probably 80%. You can still see what's shiny a little bit here and there. That's water. But we can kind of see it shiny a little bit. Still needs to cure up a little. So we'll let that do its thing. I don't have an immediate need to get it out of the garage, so we'll give it another day or two to dry up. But I finished up the brakes, bled them out, got those lines on there that I talked about, that 1/4 inch heater hose. Those are what's those guys back in there. Hold on, watch your head. Those guys back in there, you can tell that they're a little on the tight side, but I was able to get them. They are 1/4 inch, and the would have been 7 millimeter. I think that corresponds to roughly like 6.5 millimeter that I'm trying to put on a 7 millimeter inlets. But as long as they do not leak, they're on there nice and tight, not like they're going to fall off. I would have liked to have tried to get them down a little further, but I don't want to break those plastic nipples off neither. So I'll keep an eye on it, but I don't think there'll be an issue. There's no pressure there at all. And as far as water getting back in the car, this is what caused it in the first place. I had this removed. This box here was removed because I was working on the radio on some wiring. I figured the next time I come in, I'll just leave it out of the way. But I had plastic over it with some magnets that got pushed out of the way, so the water was just coming right in here, right down to the floor, and then was running down the car. What it's supposed to go into this vent box, and then here, this is the drain down here. The drain continues and exits out the front by the beam to let it get rid of the extra water. And that wasn't doing that. Well, it had 3 feet of snow on top of it when it was melting out there for 2 months. So I might drill a couple of holes in the floor. I might put one on this side at the lowest point and maybe one on the other side, just in case some does get back in there. But again, I'm gonna let this dry up for another day or two. We'll get some oil on it and I'll get the seat and stuff back in it. Right now I'm gonna go throw the wheels on it and call it a day for now, but pick this up in a minute. And yet another day has gone by. See if we can get you out of that flickering light there. And the floor is going to be dried up enough because I want to get it back together. So I'm just going to go and shoot a bunch of fluid film on there and make a coating of oil between any moisture that does get on there. And that'll help save that guy. I'm going to put the carpet back down. We put the seat back in. I got to switch cans. That one's empty. But you get the idea. And poof, it's all back together. That worked out well. Seat's back in. Got to vacuum it a little bit. Changed out the interior light. It's not working on the door switch, but it does work by finger. So more than likely it's the contacts in here. I'm not gonna be that concerned. What else are we gonna get into? The shifter. Earlier, at the beginning of the video, when I was backing it out, you hear it pop out of reverse. It's done that to me once or twice. I have a feeling the shifter is in the wrong position. Actually, somebody might have put a thing in there. Let's go see what we got. But that shifter's adjustable. Let's go pop one of them out. We'll see where it's sitting in relevance to the hole. So it looks like the shifter is all the way back. When I go to reverse, you want to go down in this direction. So the nub goes this way. We want it, the whole shifter move forward. And I don't know if the light's going to screw you up. You can see that the shifter's all the way back. So that's in the wrong position. That's causing probably some of that issue. The other thing I want to check and make sure that the bushing is good in the shifter itself. That's going to be down in this rod. Yeah, the bushing's gone. See how that thing rattles around? Right here is a nylon bushing where the shifter coupler kind of rides through. That's no good. Let's see if we can. Don't know if you guys are going to be able to see anything. You can see part of the plastic. I had a little screwdriver. I'll get the light right in there. See, you can see part of that yellow plastic there. That's not supposed to be there. That's the bushing. So that's gone. Not a cheap part. Not that big of a deal. But we have to go grab one of those. Well, we'll go put it back together for now. We're aware of what our issue is, because it just doesn't hold the cup up into the shifter all the way. That's what the issue is with doing that. So we'll work around that. Make a note of that. Focus. There you go. So I took it, you focused here, and put it back together, but you can see how much, you actually hear how much slop is in there. This right here is an adapter that what it does is it moves the shift point up. It's supposed to make for a tighter shift pattern, but because the coupler is already dropping down, it's almost falling out of the socket. The ball is barely even in the socket that is in there. So I may go back and try removing that, but I do need that coupler. It's going to make it hard to find the gears, plus you can see it's rocking on there, and not a big fan. Yeah, shouldn't have all that. Shouldn't have all that play. What do you say we try it out? And another cold start. Don't know what we're gonna get for gears though. I'll let that warm up a minute. It's been running about a minute. Let's see. Still get reverse. Feels like brakes are dragging. I don't like that. Roll for a second. Yeah. I have a feeling we might need front flex lines too. I had the emergency brake on. Back brakes were apart. Try a little forward. That should be nothing. Like it's locking them all up. What do we got? We got right front. Something's definitely dragging now. Oh. Ain't over till it's over. And it's definitely both front. I do believe that bottom plate was backwards. I just got done spinning it around because I wasn't able to capture third and fourth unless I push down on the shifter. And you're only supposed to be able to push down on the shifter for reverse. So it kind of tells me it's on the wrong side, I think. So we're going to spin it around. See how that does course. But actually, just find another shifter after I get that bushing set up. There we go. First, second, third, and fourth. That's more like it. Just a little more tighter on that. Try it again. Off out of reverse now. Yeah, still doing it. I can feel the shifter though. It's only clicking halfway in. We'll get it. We'll get her. We are VW shopping for a shifter. There might be one on one of the buses too. I remember seeing one around somewhere.
I feel like we've moved one out of here like 82 times.
Yeah, maybe in this pile over here. That's bus stuff, right?
Yeah. This is all thing.
Thing is the same shifter though, I think.
Yeah. I don't remember a thing shifter. I thought there was one. On the shelf. Sure.
I know, see? That's interior, right?
That's carbs. Cabs.
Cabs. But we checked the alternate hoard and still no avail. So I think we have to go order a couple little bits and pieces for it. But we tried. Oh yeah, it's locked up. Just dragging a little. Yeah, I definitely got to pop that front wheel off, but it seems like it's doing decent now. It's rolling. Before it was so it's locking up and unlocking. That's the wheel that we had when we first picked it up. We had to beat with a sledge too. So we'll get to taking that apart sometime. And going underneath the front there, I would definitely say that flex line brake hose is no good. She's actually leaking right on the end there. Yeah. I would say that they need to be replaced next. Probably should have done them when I did the rear, but you know how that goes. Hey guys, so we're probably gonna wrap it up right about here. I've been probably fairly long in this video, so I want to thank all you for kind of hanging out and getting rid of the bugs on the bug with me. And a couple more issues with it, we'll get her to the point where she can probably get a sticker in your drive. Getting close. And with that, I want to thank all you guys for hanging out with me and wrenching in the garage. So until the next video, I'll catch you later. That'll fix it. What you got? feel good. You want a wet dog in the